Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of All Love with Lawrence and Keshia.
Hey.
Hey. Today's episode, we are talking about the down and dirty. Actually not. We're talking about what it means to be spiritually awakened. Now I know that this is a topic that I believe is really, for me, when I was spiritually awakening, before I spiritually awakened, I thought that this was a very woo-woo kind of subject.
Oh,
like here we go, bruh. They woke. Oh snap,
Yeah.
woke people.
Because people use that term so loosely, like stay woke or awakened or spiritual journey. But how many people really know what that means?
It's true, right. And I think that now that I am spiritually awakened, I have a healthy respect for what that means. And I think that can go pretty deep. I think we're going to get into it today. So if you're not the super spiritual person, stick around. This could be the precursor to you and the Lord coming together.
And or spirit and universe.
Yeah, we will be using those interchangeably, so get used to it, all right? So what do you think? And I'm going to ask you because to me, my wife is like my spiritual guru. Like I feel like sometimes she be hanging out with the homie Jesus. You know, she'd be hanging out with the Lord, and I go to her because she's chilling with him. So,
oh my God. A little bit, something like that. So, I don't know. I think spiritually awakening is such a broad term, and it really depends on your individual journey for yourself. So, some people may experience just all of a sudden being tired a lot, a deep, profound appreciation for nature and the earth and life. And then some people have like really traumatic situations that change their whole life. Yeah. That was my my experience where I had to choose between my happiness, myself, my children, my marriage. I had to choose so many different things to choose another path, and that was my spiritual awakening process. And so it's just a process where you are led on your purpose, your passion, your life partner, your soulmate. When you're spiritually awakening, it leads to something bigger, eventually leading you on to what you were created to do and be in this life as a human. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience, if you will. And so the spiritual awakening process is more of the human finding the soul within. So we're learning who we are, why we're recreated, and we are pursuing that until we go back to the essence of God. That is my definition.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
What do you think?
For me, I agree with a lot of what you said. And I think that, not to repeat the same information, but almost like to add my perspective on it, there was something we were watching last night, Black Love. We were watching an episode of Black Love.
Yes.
Healed people, healed people, heal people. Which was, bro,
Whoa.
that title.
We were like,
we're like, bro, go get that popcorn, baby. No, but that to me, there was something that the guy said in there. He said, you don't have a soul, you are a soul, and you have a body. Man, like that sent like chills through me when I heard him say that, because it's so true. It's like the immortal, everlasting part of you is your soul. That's who you are. And the body, the experience that you're having in life is the experience. And to speak to what I think spiritual awakening is, I feel like it's a part of your life when you sort of quench, or you find a way to satisfy the desire to know God, or to know the God in yourself, to understand spirit or the universe. It's like it's the change in your life where that curiosity turns into more than just a brief thought.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I like to think of it like a lot of times spirituality can be like a high thought. You guys ever like, if you partake in that, you ever like get high and you like think that you are the most philosophical person that ever walked the face of the earth. But then when it's over, it's like you just mark it off to like high talk or whatever. But like spiritual awakening is like the action behind that kind of thought. It's like the journey to understand who you are, the spirit inside of you, the spirit of God, you know, which honestly to me is one, you know, but, you know, so a spiritual awakening is satisfying or the pursuit of that question.
Your being, really.
Right, that's right, of who you are.
I want to know more. There's more to life. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Reoccurring things and reoccurring dreams sometimes. So it's whatever your experience is that shifts. It's like a paradigm shift. Right. And you're never the same again, ever. Right. So we'd love to hear what your thoughts on spiritually awakening are, what has been or is your experience. And when did you realize, I'm awakening? You know, this is what everyone's talking about.
Right.
Because spiritually awakening is a vibe. It's a whole vibe.
Yeah, for real. And you can spot it. Like when people are on that, you don't even really have to speak to them or say hello. Sometimes you can just feel the energy of someone who is spiritually awakened or spiritually awakening. Like it's just a vibe to those kind of people, you know?
For sure. And then it becomes why. Why does this happen? And I'm not going to sit here and preach to you guys and pretend like I know everything. I just know my experience. And so I believe that it's a choice. So why does it happen? It's to go higher consciously, spiritually. But does everybody experience that? I believe that everyone is supposed to experience that, but do they experience it? I don't know, because there's a thing called free will.
Right.
So you can choose light, you can choose dark, you can choose happiness, you can choose sadness. Right. What is it? What do you choose? And once you choose your path will choose you.
Right.
So people awaken to go to a higher level of finding their soul, themselves. And not only finding yourself or your soul, but understanding it. Because we as humans, we operate in different ways because of whatever, because of our experience, because of our upbringing. But normally all of that tells a story, and you're able to interpret and understand that story after and while you're awakening. So that is the purpose in which I think why we awaken. And I think that we should awaken. But again, it's a choice. There's some people out there that are just buttholes because of their experiences, and they use that as an excuse to be a butthole.
Right.
Instead of evolve and learn from that experience to become a better person. Or hell, help somebody else go through if you used to be a narcissist, you're gonna seek out other narcissists. And then you can heal those narcissists if they choose to go down that path.
Right. Yeah. I do believe that it is a desire. And sometimes it's a desire that you get from your own, you know, learning, that things that you decide that you want to go on this path. And I think that might be the case for both of us. And I think that sometimes it's something that you find in moments of like deep despair. Like I feel like, man, you could, like, sometimes you're at the bottom of a well and there's no way out. And the only way out of this hell is through spiritual awakening.
Surrendering to the process.
That's right. And I mean, and I think that I don't want to misconstrue it, and maybe you can agree or disagree, but I don't want to misconstrue it in saying that spiritual awakening is the type of awakening that we have, you know, where we're not a Christian or not a Muslim or not, you know, we're not religious. But a spiritual awakening, literally, that journey can begin through religion. And most people find it through religion.
Yeah.
And I mean, and this may be an unpopular topic or unpopular opinion, but I feel like religion is like step one to finding God. It's like if you have no idea what spirit is, you have no idea what the universe is, you have no idea who the Most High is, you usually start by going somewhere where they teach you, like school. And church is that place. And then those spiritually mature people who go through their spiritual awakening, it's usually because you realize that you are spiritually unsatisfied with elementary school of God.
Oh my gosh.
And no disrespect to anybody who is, like in the church and feeling like, they're high on God and this is their thing, But I feel like God's relationship with you is so personal. That's why the Bible stopped 2,000 years ago. And we continue today. It's like the word got stopped written down, but it's being written every day through your personal relationship with God. And that's why a lot of people who say I'm spiritual and not religious, that's what they're referring to. Is that
exactly
today is not, it's not, I'm waiting until Sunday to learn about God. It's like God is speaking to me this morning when I woke up. God is speaking to me when I'm having a conversation with you. God is speaking to you through a conversation, through my words to you. God is ever running through us in that.
For sure.
And he can only use, in my opinion, people who are spiritually awakened.
And your gifts can be used outside the church also. I know often, or when I first chose, I made the conscious decision to leave the church. It was, oh my God, you got to go back to church because your gifts need to be used in the church. Your gifts can be used in a homeless shelter,
right,
at a nail salon, you feel me? So it's not even God gave you gifts to only be used within the walls of the church.
Right.
My gifts don't belong in the church per the Bible. But I chose to take what I felt was for me and bless everyone. Even if you do go to church, I have a lot of clients that come from the church actively.
Right.
And that was something that I chose to do.
Right. And the truth is, like, if you think about anything, if you're looking for a TV show, you're going to turn the TV on and start surfing through, right? So you're going to get plugged in, and you plug in, and I suggest you plug in whichever way feels good to you. For me, that plug got plugged in a lot of different TVs. I was in the Christian TV, I was in the Muslim TV, I was in the Buddhist TV, and I noticed for myself, I like to call myself practicing. I studied and practiced all of these things. But I finally made it to the channel that works for me. And this,
period.
In this channel, I'm certain this is it for me. But I'm connected to source, and this is the right channel. I'm in the right input.
For him.
For me.
Because it changes, and sometimes we're going to be on the same page and sometimes we're not. But whatever works for you and whatever fits with you, resonates with your spirit, choose that path.
What experience would you say led you to your spiritual awakening?
I think mine was a ripple effect. So it was first going to church out of habit, not even obligation, but out of habit. And one day I just said, I'm not feeling this. Literally, I'm in church and I'm like, man, I gotta go home, iron the kids' clothes, I gotta cook. And so it became really, I guess, a distraction, because I was always thinking about what I gotta do next. And some call that anxiety, because you're always on the next venture instead of being in the present. But it was like that for me for a while, just going to church and being there, or even hearing the pastor, but not hearing the pastor, And so I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do this. So I just stopped going. And then I ended up having a situation where I had to choose myself or my spouse, which is not him. I am divorced, and so I had to figure that out. And so between leaving the church and having a divorce, making that choice to pursue a divorce, that was my awakening. It was like, what you doing? Okay, you're leaving this, you're leaving that, and those were foundational things in my life with children involved.
Right.
And so that was like the beginning. And even then, after I made those decisions, it got darker and darker. And Lawrence talked about the well a couple minutes ago, and I can't swim. So it was
Right.
scary, but I just trusted the God within me and went through that season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I feel like my journey started a long time ago, and I feel like I've made it to this level for very similar reasons. My son's mother and I had a very tumultuous relationship in which I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot of things that I was holding on to, a lot of misrepresentations about what I thought love was or what I expected people to be, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to pretty much be destroyed emotionally, I'll say that, and rebuild myself to realize who I truly am. And I feel like my journey started a long time ago because I'd always had God first. Even as a child, you know, I felt close to God. And I had never felt the desire to be, I had never stuck with a religion long enough out of loyalty and over logic.
Yeah.
Let me say that. So I don't want to talk bad about any religion that I was in, you know, but I do want to say that it took a lot to be a part of an organization, to commit yourself to an organization, and then to question those beliefs and change. And I felt like I repeated that every 4 to 5 years. I would believe and fully practice, and then I would step back and say, well, does this make sense for me?
And you did it, baby.
Baby, I did it.
Because that's not easy to conform and commit and practice and all this, you know, devote yourself, and then to say, ooh, I don't know about that. And then go to another side and then do the same thing. And then eventually end up with a big question mark.
That's right.
You know, and then to dabble again into another practice. So that takes a lot of strength within yourself to trust yourself enough to weave in and out of religion like that.
Oh yeah, and I think the part that's the hardest, and some people may agree, is that, you know, there's a social part to being a part of a church or a mosque. It's like you're a part of a group in which you make relationships with people who believe these things, and so for you feel like you have an obligation to them to uphold this belief. So when you leave the religion, you leave the people in that church too. And that is embarrassing. It's scary. You're ostracized. People always want to talk to you into coming back. You know what I mean? It's almost like, what did happen to you to make you lose God? But the truth is that you really found God, and that's why you left.
Yeah.
You know? And so, I don't know. I feel like you got to push past that desire.
Yeah. I used to tell people, actually, to be transparent. I remember having a conversation with my mother, and she was kind of questioning where I was going and things like that as far as spirituality. And she said, well, maybe you should try it again. Maybe you should try another church. And I said, you know what, Mom? I actually hear God crystal clear now. And I don't even know if she believed me when I said that, but I knew I believed me.
Right.
And it was like I heard him right here, and in my bed, and in the shower, and in the car.
Right.
I heard him deeper than I ever, louder than I ever have heard him.
Yeah, that's right.
When I didn't have the group, the walls, the praise team, you know.
Right. Legit, yeah. Right.
I heard him for me.
That's deep right there. And I feel like if you guys want to comment below and tell us if you are still a part of the church and why.
Let us know that too. We are not against the church or whatever you practice at all. We're just sharing our experiences, and we love and welcome everyone.
That's right. And also, I respect the fact that salvation is a real important part of spirituality. I think people, you know, so what you choose is a really serious thing to most people. And so if you have your beliefs, I'm asking that you give God a chance to show you it in a very, you know, circular way, but I am by no means trying to convince you not to do what you do.
Yeah.
You know, this is a safe space for everybody. And even for full transparency, there was a long time, I mean years, where I was atheist and I legit did not believe that God existed. And I really love philosophy, and I've really studied philosophy as a replacement. And I found myself searching for the God of philosophy. You know, I feel like there's always that pull that God had on me, like,
there's more.
Yeah, keep going. You're almost there. Keep going. You know, and now I can say that my relationship is extremely deep and personal. Yeah. I'm curious to know, guys. Tell us in the comments below, you know, what your spiritual path is. Do you feel like you've reached your spiritual awakening? Do you have a different definition of what that is than we do?
Yeah.
Where has it led you on your path? Are you...
Yeah, what's your experience? Right. And another big point I want to make real quick is your partner. Your partner and or your spouse. How are they feeling, and are you guys meeting in the middle? Or is someone going left and someone's going right? Because that's very important to consider when we're talking about long-term commitment within relationships.
Oh, yeah. What does the church like to call it? Equally yoked, right? I used to think that was like, equally yoked meant that if I'm a Christian, you got to be a Christian. If I'm a Muslim, you got to be a Muslim, And I think now what I think that means is like, if my relationship with God is personal and deep, your relationship with God got to be personal and deep. I feel like...
And that's a personal requirement for you.
Period. Yeah.
It's not more of I'm settling for my husband's spiritual practice or he's settling for mine. We just happen to align, and that is such a blessing because you don't want to be forced to do this, or you don't want him to be forced to do that or understand this, and it can just eventually end because we're both holding on to something that we don't agree on.
Right. It is definitely something to consider when your spouse or your partner is leading a different spiritual life than you are. I think that's important to be aligned. It doesn't mean that if your spouse ain't on board that they ain't for you, but it just means that spiritual awakening thing you can be a spark to light that fire.
For sure.
Yeah.
And don't abandon yourself to appease the desire of your partner.
Man, that's a tough one to end on right there, girl.
That just came out of nowhere, but
that deep, bro. Deep.
You're wild. Anyway, thanks guys for tuning in. Please comment, like, share.
Yeah, hit that bell notification so you can know, even though the next one coming on Friday. So
yeah, and then let us know what else you guys want to hear more about. Do you guys want to hear more about this topic? Do you guys have questions? Do you want us to go live?
Right. Oh yeah, let us know that. And look for us on look for us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, and you can listen to us. We're streaming everywhere.
Yep, and check out our website. There's different options to talk to us.
That's right. If you would like coaching, you can book one of those with us. But get in touch with us. Let us know who's watching this because we want to know you. We're doing this for you.
Yeah. Love and light.
Peace.